Amity English Club. Easy to speak English. Bullying. Mini story. Bullying is a big problem that happens in many different ways. Is bullying a big problem? Yes, it is. Yes, bullying is a big problem. What is a big problem? Bullying. Bullying is a big problem. What happens in many different ways? Bullying. Bullying happens in many different ways. Does bullying happen in many different ways? Yes, it does. Yes, bullying happens in many different ways. Is bullying a small problem or a big problem? A big problem. Bullying is a big problem. What kind of problem is bullying? A big problem. Bullying is a big problem. How does bullying happen? In many ways. Bullying happens in many different ways. Does bullying happen in one way or many ways? Many ways. Bullying happens in many different ways. Can bullying happen in different ways? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can happen in many different ways. Why is bullying a big problem? Because it hurts people. Bullying is a big problem because it can hurt students. Have you ever seen bullying at school? Yes, I have. Yes, I have seen bullying at school. How do you feel when you see bullying? I feel sad. I feel sad when I see someone being bullied. What should students do when they see bullying? Tell a teacher. Students should tell a teacher when they see bullying. Bullying can involve mean words, physical actions, or exclusion. What can bullying involve? Mean words, physical actions, or exclusion. Bullying can involve mean words, physical actions, or exclusion. Can bullying involve mean words? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can involve mean words. Can bullying involve physical actions? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can involve physical actions. Can bullying involve exclusion? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can involve exclusion. What three things are mentioned? Words, actions, and exclusion. The three things mentioned are mean words, physical actions, and exclusion. Does bullying involve words or physical actions? Both. Bullying can involve both words and physical actions. Can bullying involve both words and actions? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can involve both mean words and physical actions. Which comes first, mean words or physical actions? Mean words. Mean words come first in the passage. Which comes last? Exclusion. Exclusion comes last. Can bullying happen without physical actions? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can happen through mean words or exclusion, without physical actions. Can words hurt people? Yes, they can. Yes, mean words can hurt people's feelings. What should you do if someone uses mean words? Tell a teacher. I should tell a teacher if someone uses mean words to bully me or someone else. Exclusion means excluding someone from a group. What does exclusion mean? Excluding someone from a group. Exclusion means excluding someone from a group. Does exclusion mean excluding someone from a group? Yes, it does. Yes, exclusion means excluding someone from a group. Who can be excluded? Someone. Someone can be excluded from a group. What can someone be excluded from? A group. Someone can be excluded from a group. Is exclusion a form of bullying? Yes, it can be. Yes, exclusion can be a form of bullying. What does excluding someone mean? Leaving someone out. Excluding someone means leaving someone out of a group. Can exclusion hurt someone's feelings? Yes, it can. Yes, exclusion can hurt someone's feelings. Is excluding someone kind or unkind? Unkind. Excluding someone is an unkind action. Does exclusion mean including someone or leaving someone out? Leaving someone out. Exclusion means leaving someone out of a group. Have you ever been left out of a group? Yes, I have. Yes, I have been left out of a group before. How would you feel if your friends excluded you? I would feel sad. I would feel sad and lonely if my friends excluded me. How can students make everyone feel included? By including everyone. Students can make everyone feel included by inviting everyone to join their group. A study done in British primary schools found that about a quarter of students said they were bullied. What did a study find? Some students were bullied. A study found that about a quarter of students said they were bullied. Where was the study done? In British primary schools. The study was done in British primary schools. What kind of schools were studied? Primary schools. British primary schools were studied. About how many students said they were bullied? About a quarter. About a quarter of the students said they were bullied. Did about a quarter of students say they were bullied? Yes, they did. Yes, about a quarter of the students said they were bullied. Were the students in primary or secondary schools? Primary schools. The students were in primary schools. What did the study find about bullying? Some students were bullied. The study found that about a quarter of the students were bullied. Was it about a quarter or a half of the students? A quarter. It was about a quarter of the students. What does a quarter mean? 1/4. A quarter means 1/4 or 25%. If there are 100 students, How many are a quarter? 25. If there are 100 students, a quarter is 25 students. Some of them said bullying happened a lot. What happened a lot? Bullying. Bullying happened a lot to some students. Who said it happened a lot? Some students. Some of the students said that it happened a lot. Did bullying happen a lot to some students? Yes, it did. Yes, bullying happened a lot to some students. Did bullying happen once or a lot? A lot. Bullying happened a lot to some students. What does it refer to? Bullying. It refers to bullying. Can bullying happen repeatedly? Yes, it can. Yes, bullying can happen repeatedly. What would you do if bullying happened repeatedly? Tell an adult. I would tell a teacher or another trusted adult if bullying happened repeatedly. Who would you tell if you were bullied? My teacher. I would tell my teacher if I were bullied. In secondary schools, there was less bullying, with about 1 in 25 cases being persistent but harder to deal with. Was there more or less bullying in secondary schools? Less bullying. There was less bullying in secondary schools. Where was there less bullying? In secondary schools. There was less bullying in secondary schools. How many cases were persistent? 1 in 25. About 1 in 25 cases were persistent. Were the persistent cases easy or difficult to deal with? More difficult. The persistent cases were harder to deal with. Was there less bullying in primary or secondary schools? Secondary schools. There was less bullying in secondary schools. Was the number 1 in 25 or 1 in 5? 1 in 25. The number was about 1 in 25. What does persistent mean? Continuing. Persistent means continuing or happening repeatedly. Can persistent bullying happen again and again? Yes, it can. Yes, persistent bullying can happen again and again. Do you think repeated bullying is serious? Yes, I do. Yes, I think repeated bullying is very serious. Why is persistent bullying difficult to deal with? Because it keeps happening. Persistent bullying is difficult to deal with because it keeps happening. In the past, schools didn't always admit that bullying was happening. What didn't schools always admit? Bullying was happening. Schools didn't always admit that bullying was happening. Did schools always admit that bullying was happening? No, they didn't. No, schools didn't always admit that bullying was happening. When didn't schools always admit it? In the past. In the past. Schools didn't always admit it. Did schools sometimes fail to admit bullying? Yes, they did. Yes, Schools sometimes fail to admit that bullying was happening. What was happening in some schools? Bullying. Bullying was happening in some schools. Did schools admit it or ignore it? They sometimes ignored it. They sometimes failed to admit or recognize that it was happening. Do you think schools should always admit when bullying happens? Yes, they should. Yes, schools should always admit and deal with bullying when it happens. What should a school do when bullying happens? Take action. A school should take action when bullying happens. Schools didn't know much about it or have the right tools to handle it. But now, things are changing. What didn't schools know much about? Bullying. They didn't know much about bullying. What didn't schools have? The right tools. They didn't have the right tools to handle bullying. Did they know much about bullying? No, they didn't. No, they didn't know much about bullying. Did they have the right tools? No, they didn't. No, they didn't have the right tools to handle it. Why didn't schools always admit bullying was happening? They lacked knowledge and tools. They didn't always admit it because they didn't know much about bullying or have the right tools to handle it. What did they need to handle bullying? Knowledge and tools. They needed more knowledge and the right tools to handle bullying. What does handle it mean? Deal with it. Handle it means deal with or manage the problem. What should schools have to deal with bullying? The right resources. Schools should have the right resources and tools to deal with bullying. Who should help schools deal with bullying? Teachers and experts. Teachers, school leaders, and experts should help schools deal with bullying.
Are things changing now? Yes, they are. Yes, things are changing now. When are things changing? Now. Things are changing now. Are things the same as they were in the past? No, they aren't. No, things are changing now, so they aren't the same as in the past. Are things getting better or worse? Better. Things are getting better because people are taking bullying more seriously. Is the situation changing now? Yes, it is. Yes, the situation is changing now. Do you think schools are better at dealing with bullying now? Yes, I do. Yes, I think schools are better at dealing with bullying now. People are starting to recognize how serious bullying is. What are people starting to recognize? How serious bullying is. People are starting to recognize how serious bullying is. Are people starting to recognize how serious bullying is? Yes, they are. Yes, people are starting to recognize how serious bullying is. How serious is bullying? Very serious. Bullying is a very serious problem. Are people beginning to understand bullying better? Yes, they are. Yes, people are beginning to understand bullying better. Are people recognizing that bullying is serious or unimportant? Serious. People are recognizing that bullying is serious. Why is it important to recognize bullying? Because it hurts students. It is important to recognize bullying because it hurts students and can make them feel unsafe. Do you think bullying is a serious problem? Yes, I do. Yes, I think bullying is a very serious problem. Why is bullying serious? It hurts students. Bullying is serious because it hurts students physically and emotionally. Schools are creating rules to stop bullying. What are schools creating? Rules. Schools are creating rules to stop bullying. Why are schools creating rules? To stop bullying. Schools are creating rules to stop bullying. Are schools creating rules to stop bullying? Yes, they are. Yes, schools are creating rules to stop bullying. What can rules help schools do? Stop bullying. Rules can help schools stop bullying. Are schools creating rules to stop or encourage bullying? Stop it. Schools are creating rules to stop bullying. Can rules help prevent bullying? Yes, they can. Yes, rules can help prevent bullying. Who should follow the rules? Everyone. Everyone at school should follow the rules. Does your school have rules about bullying? Yes, it does. Yes, my school has rules about bullying. What should happen when someone breaks the rules? They should be punished. They should face appropriate consequences and be helped to understand their behavior. They're doing this because they know it's important, they have the resources to help, and they've seen that their efforts can make a difference. Why are schools creating rules? Because it's important. Schools are creating rules because they know stopping bullying is important. What do schools have? Resources. Schools have the resources to help. What have schools seen? Their efforts can make a difference. Schools have seen that their efforts can make a difference. Can their efforts make a difference? Yes, they can. Yes, their efforts can make a difference. Why are schools taking action? Because they know it's important. Schools are taking action because they know stopping bullying is important. Do they have resources or no resources? Resources. They have the resources to help. What does make a difference mean? Make a positive change. Make a difference means to make a positive change. What 3 reasons are given for taking action? Importance, resources, and results. They take action because they know it is important, they have resources to help, and they have seen positive results. Why should schools take action against bullying? To protect students. Schools should take action to protect students and make them feel safe. What difference can schools make? They can reduce bullying. Schools can make a difference by reducing bullying and making students feel safer. Studies in different countries have shown that when schools take action, bullying goes down a lot. What have studies shown? Bullying goes down. Studies have shown that bullying goes down when schools take action. Where have the studies been done? In different countries. The studies have been done in different countries. What happens when schools take action? Bullying goes down. Bullying goes down a lot when schools take action. Does bullying go down when schools take action? Yes, it does. Yes, bullying goes down a lot when schools take action. What happens if schools take action? Bullying decreases. If schools take action, bullying goes down a lot. Does bullying go up or go down? It goes down. Bullying goes down when schools take action. Can school action reduce bullying? Yes, it can. Yes, school action can reduce bullying. Does bullying decrease a little or a lot? A lot. Bullying decreases a lot when schools take action. What actions can schools take to reduce bullying? Create rules and help students. Schools can create rules, educate students, and help students who are bullied. Do you think school rules can reduce bullying? Yes, I do. Yes, I think school rules can help reduce bullying. In general, people are working hard to stop bullying in schools. What are people working hard to stop? Bullying. People are working hard to stop bullying. Where are people trying to stop bullying? In schools. People are trying to stop bullying in schools. Are people working hard? Yes, they are. Yes, people are working hard to stop bullying. What are people doing to stop bullying? Working hard. People are working hard to stop bullying in schools. Are people working hard or doing nothing? Working hard. People are working hard to stop bullying. What does in general mean? Generally. In general means generally or overall. What can students do to stop bullying? Speak up. Students can speak up and tell an adult when they see bullying. How can teachers help? By taking action. Teachers can help by taking action and supporting students. They understand that bullying hurts students and want to make sure everyone feels safe. What do they understand? Bullying hurts students. They understand that bullying hurts students. Who does bullying hurt? Students. Bullying hurts students. Does bullying hurt students? Yes, it does. Yes, bullying hurts students. What do they want to make sure? Everyone feels safe. They want to make sure everyone feels safe. Does everyone deserve to feel safe? Yes, they do. Yes, everyone deserves to feel safe. How does bullying affect students? It hurts them. Bullying hurts students and can make them feel unsafe. Does bullying help or hurt students? It hurts them. Bullying hurts students. Do they want everyone to feel safe or afraid? Safe. They want everyone to feel safe. Why is it important for students to feel safe? So they can learn well. It is important for students to feel safe so they can learn and enjoy school. Do you feel safe at school? Yes, I do. Yes, I feel safe at school. What makes you feel safe at school? My teachers and friends. My teachers and friends make me feel safe at school. What can teachers do to make students feel safe? Help and protect them. Teachers can help and protect students when they have problems. What can students do to make their classmates feel safe? Be kind. Students can be kind, include everyone, and speak up against bullying. How would you help a student who feels unsafe? I would help them. I would listen to them and tell a teacher if they needed help. This recording is copyrighted by Amity English Club. Cell phone 090-642-6657. Kon Tum City, Vietnam.